Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the PHNX Rising podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. My name is Ramon Chavez, and as always, my partner, Owen Evans, here in the house. Unfortunately, there's no Edwin. There's no El Jefe today, but we do have Mr. Peacekeeper himself, Sean DePaz. How are you, sir?
Lovely. How are y'all? I love that nickname, by the way.
Yeah, I thought about it on the spot.
I like that. I like that.
Just came out with that really just literally in the moment.
No, I thought about it for weeks.
Yeah. I like it. I'm gonna start making other people call me that.
You know, how long are we giving it until he changes his whole Twitter profile to just be the Peacekeeper?
That'd be cool. John Cena's gonna add him and be like, hey man, I need you to stop. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Owen, I'm still working on yours, man. I don't know why it's taking me a while, but we'll get it one day. But yeah, we're gonna have a great show today. If you guys are on Rip Edwin Justin, no, it's not that bad. Yeah, I think he's just. I think he's
yeah, we've not killed him. No. It's okay. He's still alive. He's still alive.
We think, right?
We think.
Yeah,
as far as you guys know.
Exactly. But yeah, shout out to
Justin. This is taking
Justin.
a dark turn very early on.
Somber on Tuesday, dark on Thursday. You know, you never know what you're gonna get here at Rising, the Rising podcast. So yeah, shout out to Justin on the chat. Everybody that's watching us right now, Michael, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much.
Guys,
if you haven't
we've not killed him. We've not killed Edwin. It's okay.
I can confirm that I have also not killed Edwin.
Yeah. We need a picture of him with like today's newspaper or something.
It's okay. Look, FBI, if you're watching, he's okay. It's not us.
Sorry, Edwin. But yeah, if you guys haven't yet, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us grow. You guys did it. You guys helped us to over 500 Twitter followers, so we really appreciate that. Our next goal is 1,000, and we'll do something special for that one. And also, if you guys have checked our Twitter lately, we're giving away a Rising signed shirt, so make sure to go over there, check out that tweet, and make sure that you get a chance to win.
What's the handle again?
PHNX __ Rising.
Double the underscores, double the fun.
Boom, boom. All right, y'all. We're going to have a great show for you today. Of course, we're going to be talking about this weekend's upcoming game against San Antonio FC in San Antonio. So that for sure will be a firecracker. We're going to take a look also at the other USL games happening this weekend. And of course, we can't talk about soccer, football, without mentioning the World Cup that's coming up this year. And also on Friday, tomorrow, the World Cup draw. So a lot of these teams are going to find out what's going to happen with them in November in Qatar. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. So let's see those Washboard. No, my God. See what you started, Owen? You mentioned that I got to take my shirt off, and now people are on the comments saying that.
I still think, can we get the Peacekeeper's view on this one? I think that he should do a post-game shirtless.
There's no abs, man.
Are you going to join him? I feel like you guys...
He promised he was going to do it.
I didn't promise anything. Owen's a little fond of watching me without my shirt, so I don't know. I mean,
I feel like if he's going to do it, you got to show some solidarity and do it too, Owen.
That's true.
Get Edwin in on the action. Just do the whole thing. Everybody's got to be shirtless.
So yeah, I agree with Peacekeeper. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, gotcha.
But yeah, great stuff here at Rising podcast as always. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Talk about San Antonio. Big game coming up for Rising. Of course, they had that loss against San Diego this past weekend. Coming off back-to-back losses. You know, for people that aren't acquainted with San Antonio, Owen, what can you say about that team?
Well, for a starter, they've won all 3 games so far, okay? So this is not going to be an easy environment. It's also an away game that Rising has never actually won, which, if I'm not mistaken, out of all the teams they've played more than once away from home, only San Antonio is a team they've never gotten 3 points coming out of that game. It's not going to be easy there, and, you know, they're coming in high on confidence. Rising are coming in really pretty low on confidence, let's be honest, after 2 pretty poor performances. We've got to talk a bit about the way that they play. I mean, we were talking about this earlier before we came on air, and it was, wow, this might be pretty bad for Rising, actually. Yeah. They're not a possession-based team, those guys. They're actually averaging only 40% possession through those opening 3 games. Mm-hmm. Their passing isn't the best. It's, I've got the number here. It is 66.4% passing accuracy.
It's not good at all.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're winning games. They've won all 3 games so far, and, you know, you've got to hand it to them. They're going to prove a pretty tough test.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, they're undefeated this season. Beat Detroit City at home 1-0. At Galaxy 2-1. RGV Toros 2-1 this past weekend. So from those score lines, it kind of tells me that they're a scrappy team. They're not going to score a lot of goals, but like we're saying in the results, they're only beating teams by a score of 1. So what does that tell you as well?
I think it's just about the way that they play. You know, they're a team that are very physical. They obviously commit a lot of fouls as a result. I mean, look, I could talk about this. Landon did enough talking about that last season when he effectively wrote San Antonio's team talk for him by describing them as not being footballers. But look, what they do is very effective. And you can tell that by the results. But they're going to be a tough prospect because what we know is that Rising, when they go up against these like teams that are happy to let you kind of attack them and not win the possession game. If Rising can't get a goal, they start to get a bit desperate and they do overcommit, and that's when they get caught on the counter. Look, we've known this for years. This is how you beat Phoenix Rising: is that you absorb the pressure and then catch them on the counter. The problem is that a lot of teams aren't good enough to do that. That's why Rising's had so much success. Just the quality of the players. But I don't know. It's not a game that I feel too confident going into. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, and San Antonio FC, they're off to their best start in history. 3 wins out of the 3 games that they played. I know their brand of football is ugly. You can even call it that, but they're getting results. So,
look, a win's a win, right? You can play all the pretty boy football you want, but if you don't get a result at the end of it, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You can go pass the ball around the back as much as you like. There are a lot of teams that do that. Yeah. Right? Who cares? You've got to come away with 3 points.
Yeah, I get that W. So along San Antonio FC, you have Colorado with 9 points. But out of Colorado and San Antonio, is San Antonio maybe the best team in the Western Conference, at least right now?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think that the difference is there are some really good players on that Colorado Springs team from an attacking perspective. And it's not to say that we're out with San Antonio, but I think that they just buy into that system and the way that they play more. They're both good, but in different ways. And I think that at the start of the season, we had both of those. We knew that both of those teams were going to be there or thereabouts. They're going to be in the, battling for the top half of the playoffs, get a home game to start the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's early days. It is hard to tell.
Yeah, no, it's only three or four games, so far. So it's easy to make a lot of assumptions, but it's hard to judge exactly how the teams are. So, there is a former Rising player that's part of the San Antonio FC.
There is
David Loera, and he's been arguably, San Antonio's best player this season. And Rick did have some words to say about him. So if we can play that video, let's see what Rick had to say.
Yeah, David Loera. I mean, I know this kid was here with us. He's a dynamic number 10. He's great on the ball. He's got center of gravity is about 2 inches off the ground, and he can shift and change directions. He's going to be a handful, and looking at the way we've played lately, the short, quick guys give us a big challenge because we're like lumbering around slowly. So we're going to have to be very aware of David and what he brings to that team.
Definitely some good words about David Loera from Rick Shantz there. Before we start to talk about this season with David Loera, what can you say about his time at Rising last season? He played around 11 games, if I'm correct.
Yes, we came in near the end. He was on loan from Orlando City. He was just that kind of a really quick guy that just seemed to have pace to burn. And just didn't slow down at all at any stage. He would be, all of a sudden he'd be on one wing. Then you look down, you look up, and he's on the other wing. It was, and that's the kind of energy that you needed really, because he sometimes would come off the bench replacing Arturo, right? Late in the game, you want someone who's going to be causing
spark
that kind
plug.
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily he had the best of years last year, but you could see that there was the ground. Yeah, well, he had the ability to do it. It was just, and again, he came late in the season, right? He hadn't played really that year. Yeah. So it takes time to get in and out. This year, I mean, he is on a different level so far, isn't he, for 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, 2 goals so far, if I'm correct, with San Antonio. So, and one of them was nominated for goal of the week, so if I remember correctly. So he's doing well. I do see in the chat here that, for example, Justin saying us not keeping Loera was a big L. He wanted him in the team. Thomas as well. Wish we could have kept the dude. Man was a baller, and Alex agrees with them. So, is that your general feeling that you wish maybe Rising would have kept them, or was that just a lone situation where sometimes the player just has to go back?
It's tough. I mean, look, he's off there now doing what he does, starting there. Would you have offered him a starting place here? Because all the people who say they want to keep him, you have to bear in mind there's only so much stockpiling you can do. And and a good reason for that is because the players themselves want to be playing, right? You can't promise him a starting role here. Even, I know if you talk to Rick, it'll be, well, no one's promised a starting role, whatever.
Yeah.
But look, he's not expecting to, is he? If he comes here, he's behind Arturo.
Yeah.
Is what we'd expect, barring a weird twist of fate during the season. He's behind Arturo.
Yeah.
Now he's gone to San Antonio and he's proving what he can do when he's a regular starter.
Yeah, definitely. So besides David Loera, is there anybody else that from San Antonio that we actually got some breaking news today regarding their starting goalkeeper that Bonilla, he just retired a few hours ago. He's
retired. Look, we don't know why fully. It's for personal reasons. San Antonio have got a press conference tomorrow. We'll probably get some more information out of that, but it's an interesting one to say the least. I mean, 3 games into the season, and he is retired from football. He started all 3 of their games as well.
Yeah.
It means that likely we'll see Jordan Farr in goal. Jordan came down from Indy 11 last season as an emergency loan. Actually, I think it was during the playoffs. Look, he's a good goalkeeper. Not necessarily the best, but a good goalkeeper. He managed to guide him to the Western Conference Finals last year, not giving up too many goals along the way. So, hey, it's not like you've just leapt to a backup that you think is unqualified. He's perfectly qualified, played a lot of games with Indy 11 last year, perfectly qualified to be a starting goalkeeper in this league, but definitely not how San Antonio would have wanted things to turn out, I think.
Yeah, no, and from what I read on their Twitter after they posted that statement was that a lot of fans were questioning the fact that they had 3 goalkeepers in their roster, and now with Bonilla out, and hopefully everything's fine. We're not sure what happened there, but he's 28 years old, Colombian. He had been called up to the Colombian national team, never actually played for the senior team, from the research that I had, but a strange situation. But now you still have 2 goalkeepers, and like you're saying, at least a serviceable one to be able to cover with no issues. So yeah, besides that goalkeeping position, anywhere else that Rising fans should kind of keep an eye out?
So I actually quite like Justin Dillon. His numbers don't always scream at you. When you're a guy who's a winger, centre forward type who's not scoring a lot of goals, which he hasn't. Barring one season, 2019, when he was with Tacoma, he scored 12 goals that season in 25 games, which is a decent haul. Sometimes you can look at it and go, oh, maybe it's not that great. But he is a real presence. He wins a lot of duels. He wins a good number of balls in the air. I think that he's the kind of guy who could pose a danger.
Yeah, no, definitely something to keep an eye out there.
And we got Mitch as well. Does everyone remember the trialist Mitchell Tainter? Back when he was here and they just called him Mitch.
That was just his name?
Well, he was on trial, wasn't he? That was back that season. They tried it out a bit weird. It was using the players' first names, but like a shortened version of their first names, which arguably they should go back to because that made it a lot easier on us to work out who the trialists were. But
now there's just numbers, right?
Yeah, but he's there now in San Antonio.
And then he's a left back, just for people that don't know. Yeah. Okay. All right, awesome. So yeah, to make sure to keep an eye on those guys on Saturday's games. But let's turn the page over here and talk about Rising. Obviously from what we talked about this week, it's been a bit of a somber mood, over there at the Wild Horse Pass with the training and stuff. So, is this something that's going to affect the players? The fact that they lost back-to-back games, and maybe they're not working out as much as you thought they were going to do this season, as far as getting the goals and the wins, and it's not coming as easy as they maybe thought.
Yeah, look, you can tell the vibe is a bit different. I think that Tuesday's press conference, we didn't quite get into it. It was a weird press conference, right? I don't think we've ever had one with Rick that felt quite that way. It definitely feels like there is some pressure in there. And you've had the big changes to how training's working and all of that. It's interesting, but look, they've got to pick themselves up. And the problem now they're facing is that San Antonio is a tough game. You don't pick up in that game, great. Now you've got a midweek cup game. With a midweek cup game, then you say, okay, well, do you really have to play the starters? Whatever. especially when you've then got another league game on the weekend that you really are desperate to win at that point because you might be 3 points after 4 games.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Because if you lose to Valley United, suddenly that pressure and that negativity just ramps up even more.
Yeah.
You know, imagine having 3 points from 4 games in the league and you've just been binned out the cup by a lower division team. That's a tough one to take.
Yeah.
So then what do you do with that? Do you actually put those points at risk? Do you just hope that, you know, and then if you drop points against Los Dos again, then you got New Mexico coming to town, and that is not a game that people will accept losing, especially if the team has been poor before that. So it's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, there's no time to just kind of, you know, moan
things
about
are coming thick and fast now.
Yeah.
There's very little respite. I don't know. Look, I know Thomas there with that comment about, you know, maybe I should be more worried. Look, and they have had rough starts in previous seasons, right? That's correct. But again, this one is if they lose on Saturday, it will be the worst start that they've had under the Phoenix Rising name. It was one of the Arizona United teams, I think 2016, did the same. But yeah, no Phoenix Rising or Arizona United team will have done worse if they lose on Saturday through 4 games.
Oh, man. So the way you put it, if Rising comes out with a draw,
that's the thing. Like,
would you be okay with it? And chat, I want to know your opinion as well. Would you be okay with getting that point in San Antonio again? They've never won there, but coming in a little bit better heading into that Valley United U.S. Open Cup game.
Look, I think that it's an odd one because at the start of the season, if you'd have said, "Oh, will you take a point in San Antonio?" I don't think you say no. I think that as a game, you look at it as one of the tougher away games, and you would say flat out, "Yeah, point's a good point. Look, a point in that game is a point gained." But now, having had those last 3 games and seeing what has happened there, it feels now like there's a lot more urgency. You actually have to win that game. Look, I think a point's still a good result, but it still leaves you with that problem of what happens if you drop points in the next few games after. Yeah. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like you're saying, it's not going to get easier. So might as well just keep working on it now because otherwise you got all those games coming up. So, and then just remind me, so U.S. Open Cup, let's say they win that one. Their next game would be in late April.
It's 2 weeks after.
2 weeks after?
2 weeks after.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's mid-April, I think.
Okay, awesome.
So
another midweek game, another
midweek game if they get through that one. Yeah, could be an MLS team, could be home or away. We don't know.
Yeah.
That draw will be held on Friday next week. But yeah.
I agree with Thomas there.
Yeah.
Draw or win in San Antonio, Valley United, and LA, 2 are games to get our form steady.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be too bad.
I think the key for this weekend, really, the biggest key of anything that we could point out, Rising have to get on the scoreboard first.
Yeah.
Okay? This team last season had a 100% record when they took the lead first. And that's because, how do you beat Rising? You get them frustrated. You know, they didn't win many games. I think it was only 2 games they won out of 14 when they trailed first.
Yeah.
That's tough, you know? And that's the problem. As soon as another team scores, it allows them to sit back. It allows them to not have to take the kind of risks that Rising will
push up that midfield and they hit on those counters.
But then when Rising take the lead, they don't have to take as many risks. They don't have to. You don't feel the need to overcommit. Yes, they want more goals. You know, this is a team that will happily go out there and win 6-0.
Yeah. But that's when the other team overcommits, and that's when Rising can take advantage of those
you find those gaps appear, because there's more urgency on the opponent's side.
For sure. And that's you actually just took my next question out of my mouth here. So what are the keys to getting their first victory in San Antonio? Again, they've never won there. The first one that I had was long-range shooting. You know, we saw Seijas with that goal against San Diego. I think Rising should take the opportunities if they have those spaces to take those long-range shots, and hopefully they're either going to get a rebound or, you know, kind of put their defense, you know, on their heels.
It's an interesting one because normally I would dissuade push you away from that. I think that long-range shooting, that kind of like hunting for a highlight reel goal can be frustrating. You watch it a lot and it's, why are you taking those opportunities? You are not Cristiano Ronaldo. You are not Lionel Messi, right? You are playing in USL. You know, get a little bit of perspective. You're a good footballer, but look, at the end of the day, the thing I think is they need to actually work on the service, even for the centre forward in there.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's been lacking, and there's been struggles with the wingers. We know that they were struggling, and Rick was very blunt about how he thought they'd done.
That still kind of like surprises me. The Marcus Epps, no shots on, even overall. Like
when you spat those numbers at me on the weekend, not weekend, sorry, on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I genuinely was, wait, really?
I know. I was like, because
I'm not normally shocked by that kind of stuff, but that was shocking to me.
Yeah, and I remember just doing my research before the show, and I was like, what? Like, because I was on the USL site. And I was like, this can't be true. So I'm just gonna say it on the show, and I know Owen's gonna probably correct me if I was wrong. But yeah, man, like, and those are one of the things that we need more out of the forwards. Exactly how Michael is saying, get something out of the forwards not named Greg. Exactly. So Marcus Epps returning to San Antonio. Do you expect them to start after these 3 games kind of subpar?
It's really hard. It's really hard to tell because of Rick's comment earlier this week about the 7 changes. Look, we're not going to see 7 changes, surely. Right.
I don't think so. No.
I think there's a level there of there could be 7 changes and there could be 7 places up for grabs, but you're not going to see all 7 changes made because I think if they go into San Antonio making 7 changes against a very informed side, you're going to struggle. Because look, people are quick to throw up the are they gelling quick enough as one of the reasons why Rising have struggled so far this season. Well, you're going to make 7 changes and that's going to fix it? That wouldn't work.
Yeah. No, for sure.
The only reason that would work is if it is genuinely some of the individual players aren't playing as well as they should be playing.
Mm-hmm.
You're replacing with someone who's going to do better. Look, I think that we know Rick likes to play players against their former teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Marcus Epps probably plays at least off the bench. And he's a good player. I mean, it's just been a poor start to the season.
And you were saying when looking at those stats is that, he doesn't have the shots on target, but as far as services, key passes, he's getting that side of his game done.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's still getting that done.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of expected that to a degree, but it was just the complete lack of any shots that's a surprise.
Yeah, no, seeing that 0 there, I think it was they just leave it.
3 games, you've taken no shots as a winger.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely a wake up call for him if he does play. If he doesn't start, I mean, because I'm sure Rick's taking a look at that as well, and I know seeing Santi on the other side frustrated and doing those switches is just he's just trying to kind of wake him up. So, Harry here on the chat, what's up, Rising Nation? Wish I could wish you luck this week. Okay. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate that. But we'll see. We'll see how the score is. So speaking of those 7 changes, Owen, from what I got from Rick is that they're not going to be technically like swap out 7 players. Maybe it's a position change or something like that. So I don't see 7 changes overall, but do you see maybe 1 or 2 at least that are for sure going to happen?
I can see a few happening. I think the way that Rick's been talking about, and Thomas called it here with Seijas,
mm-hmm.
I get the feeling that he wants to give Luis a bigger role this week.
Yeah.
There was a whole and I'm pretty sure the club posted it, right? A whole answer just on we've got to find a way to get him involved because every time he comes out there, he's doing exactly what we want.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we could see him starting, or we could see him as the first guy off the bench.
Okay.
Besides that, look, some of those tactical adjustments, it's things like Darnell can play on the left if you need him to. Other guys Arturo can play as a winger. We know that Arturo can play as a winger. And, it's little things like that more than anything. I think that there's not going to be wholesale change. 7 surely isn't going to happen. I tell you what, if it happens, I am going to be very, very surprised when that team sheet comes out.
So when you're saying Seijas, so would you push Marcus Epps out of the lineup and maybe having come off the bench if you're going to put Arturo in that left winger position?
It's interesting. It's tough. Or do you
or switch Santi to the other side?
This is the question, right? Because Santi's not had a great start to the season either. And does he deserve time? Has he proven that he can do it and should have time? Yeah. I think that he should. But that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen in any given match day. It's tough. It's tough to work out. And the thing is, Luis is quite a versatile player in that midfield, to Justin's point. So it's hard to tell who he'll be starting in place of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, it's not Kev Lambert. He's not replacing Kev
I don't think
Lambert.
Lambert will
Okay,
come
that's not happening.
Quinn, I don't see it either. I don't think
Quinn, so
Michael
you think Arturo? Or do you think he's replacing a winger with Arturo pushed out wide?
I don't know. Because we saw a little bit of Arturo against San Diego. Honestly, I kind of want to see Calistri, give him a little bit of a start. I know that's...
You want to get Vito out there?
A little bit, maybe see if we can jumpstart it. I know he's that utility guy. Michael says here, Arturo and Say has left and right midfielder and then 2 forwards. I don't think so. It's tough. I think if you're gonna put in Seijas, Arturo's gonna go to the bench, and then I don't know if Seijas is able to do 90 minutes and maybe put Arturo, maybe in the 60th, 70th minute.
And especially because we know that Arturo and that kind of unpredictability that he has, it allows you to play around a bit more. I mean, I know there that Michael,
I wish, yeah.
I'm intrigued. We haven't seen Richmond Antwi.
I've seen him in the stands.
Oh yeah, we know he exists. We saw him in preseason.
I want him to play. I want him to be in the bench at least.
He is a real guy. He's not a simulation. He's actually there, but we've yet to actually see him out on the field.
We do have to acknowledge Mr. Edwin Pettis from the grave. Sorry, couldn't be in today, boys, but keep killing it.
I like how we were making all the jokes earlier about it's okay, we haven't killed him, and then he throws down, keep killing it, boys.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic.
For the FBI agent that is watching the show, this should be all the proof that you need that none of us have killed Edwin.
YouTube's gonna censor us with all this.
It definitely is not the intern next to me commenting as Edwin. We're not covering anything up.
All right, yeah, but yeah, we do miss you, Edwin, but we do have Mr. Peacemaker here, so I think we're okay for today. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, a lot of chess pieces to move. We'll see on Saturday what happens with that. I'm excited. I think Rick is, kind of said a little bit earlier, he's maybe not the world's greatest tactician, but I think this will kind of put him to the test a little bit to see if he can kind of jumpstart this team because, lack of effort, energy, like you're saying in that press conference, he just looked like he was kind of done, with all this stuff. I think he's already had this conversation with the players.
It's been a tough week. And it's been a tough week for a lot because you have to do after a bad result, there are ways you can rationalize it,
Yeah.
After Vegas, you go, okay, everything was ridiculous. The bad second half against Monterey Bay, complacent. And then San Diego, by the time San Diego comes around and you lose that game, it's hard to come out with excuses and you have to start doing some genuine soul searching. And I think that is kind of what we've seen. It will be a rough week, right? This is a team that's supposed to compete for titles and they've been struggling early doors. You're going to have that kind of a kind of questioning and, that if they're having those conversations, at least they're doing the right thing. They're working on how they're going to improve it for the weekend now and going forward in the season. But yeah, for now, it's a bit tough.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, y'all. So to wrap this segment up, what's your prediction for the game?
Oh,
in that chat, yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think.
This one's hard. I feel like we need to get the Peacemaker to go first.
Peacemaker, let's go. Throw it out there, Sean.
Listen, I don't know the team as well as either of you, so this is not as informative an opinion, but when I'm on the Sun Devil show, I like to try and be an optimist. So I'm going to be an optimist here. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win.
All right, Sean, let's go.
So you're backing him.
2-1. I say so too. 2-1. I think Rising will fall. We'll give up the first goal and then come back and score 2.
I'm gonna flip it the other way around.
1-2. Rising's
I'm gonna have him lose 2-1.
Oof.
I think it's a very tough place to play, right? And it's not a slight on Rising, the fact that I'm saying this necessarily. Okay, it is a tough place to play, and they win a lot of games. Again, they've won all 3 games.
Look, Harry's saying 2-2. San Antonio fan on the chat saying 2-2.
There's been a lot of, wasn't it? I'm trying to think, the last time these two sides met.
Are there typically a lot of goals?
2019, wasn't it? Well, 2019, yes. There was a lot of goals in that opening game. It was a 3-3 draw away in San Antonio.
I think I'd rather see them play like that. Like, you know what? Screw the defense. We're just gonna try to score some goals and have some fun.
Yeah, no defending. Just
yeah,
vibes.
no defending. Yeah, let's just do it how it is. Yeah,
it's almost like that El Paso Lights game.
That was crazy. That was crazy. I don't know if anybody in the chat saw that game, but I think it was. We were watching some other game. I think it was the qualifiers, and Or just no. We're watching the San Diego.
We were
game.
watching San Diego
Yeah, it
against
was a Wednesday
Tulsa,
one.
and then you just open up your phone and it's like, why have there been 5 goals in 10 minutes?
Danny Trejo. Oh,
Yeah.
Cal Jennings. Oh, gotta switch it. Yeah, Sean, good question on the chat here. Why haven't you gone to a game? I think we're trying to get the whole PHNX crew.
Listen, I've been to Rising games before. I haven't yet this season. But
The dollar thing, huh? The dollar beer thing.
No, I went last year. Just for random. I went to the 90th minute winner against New Mexico, against New Mexico. That was my first ever game, so that was one hell of an experience. But I haven't had, there's
So
Coyotes.
Sean saw that
play.
game and he said, "I'm never coming back."
No,
here.
I went to another one. I went to another one last season. I forget. I think it was against Las Vegas. Actually, it was against Las Vegas. But I haven't had a chance this season. Other work responsibilities, but I trust. Me and my girlfriend love going to Rising games, so I will be back.
But here's the question: do you watch them from the south end?
No, I haven't had that opportunity yet.
Okay,
I feel like
so
the
what's
South
holding
End
you
is
back?
scary for some people, like for their first
Oh,
game.
I would go if I was with some people. I don't know if I would go by myself, but I would if I had a
They're a big
guide.
family down there. Just go, join them. Do it.
Fair enough.
Sounds like a threat. No, I'm just kidding.
Do
Yeah,
it or
it's-
else.
Well, this
fun
has got a really dark undertone to this whole episode, right?
Relax,
We
Owen.
started by killing off Edwin, but
We're
we
family.
didn't kill off Edwin. Don't worry.
Yeah, it sounded like
Now
Vin
we're
Diesel there.
threatening.
Yeah.
It's oh.
Yeah, Justin says I'll go to an ASU game of Sean's choice if he gets Rising season tickets. So,
ASU U of A this year for football.
Ooh.
That's American football, if that's what you're talking
I
about.
gotta go to an ASU football game. I haven't gone in like years. I remember those
Wow.
fireworks used to scare me. But yeah, we'll go. We'll go one day. The fuck, we aren't scary. Yeah.
See, there we go. They're not scary. They're telling you themselves. Big family. There we go.
I don't know, a little
No,
veil of threats there.
I believe they're friendly. I listen.
They're friendly unless you are Andrew Carlton.
Yeah,
Then they're not friendly.
I'm not gonna
But
do anything.
That's a whole different conversation.
I'm not going to do anything to upset them. I feel like we could get along.
We'll post a picture once Sean goes.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually.
that would
It'll
improve it.
happen this season.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, y'all. Awesome segment here. We're going to take a quick break and talk about DraftKings. So if you guys haven't yet, you guys can join the college basketball fun that's happening right now. You can join the action on the court during the biggest tournament of the year with DraftKings Sportsbook. You can turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Yep, it's that simple. If they win, you win. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on college hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. You do have to be 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Should be fun. Should be fun with the Final Four. We'll see.
Well, there's USL as well.
That's
USL
true.
betting.
Let's go.
There is a game tomorrow, so we do have odds for that one now.
Let's check it out.
Charleston Battery against Las Vegas Lights. Who
Can I
are you
guess on
taking
it?
there?
'Cause
Who
I
are
haven't
you
seen 'em.
taking there? Who are you taking there?
Dang, Charleston been okay. I'll take Vegas. I want the.
Yeah, Charleston have not been that good though, really. Have
Okay.
They got that one result over Tulsa, and then
Is
besides
that the one I'm thinking of? Yeah.
yeah, they got that one result over Tulsa.
I'm on that
And
Danny
then
Trejo train.
They
Let's
lost
do it.
away to Detroit, and then they lost 4-1 in midweek to Atlanta United 2. And yet you can get odds of plus 265 on Vegas.
I'll take that one.
If you want to take the draw, no bet, you want to hedge, keep it safe, it's plus 145
Yeah.
on Vegas.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of these.
So I
Yeah.
think that's the one. That's the one for me. We'll have to hang fire on Saturday's games. They usually go up tomorrow.
Okay. Day of the game? Day before?
Yeah, typically day before for USL games on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm taking Vegas on that one.
So
All right.
I think it's probably the one to go. Probably the one to go.
Nice. All right, y'all. And then we do have to let you know that we have new items at PHNXlocker.com. So I know we got can't really see it, but I got my shirt here. But Owen has something even better.
Yeah,
right now.
we've got hats now.
See if we can put it a little bit closer and see.
Yeah.
PHNX hat. This one's the trucker one, right? With
I
the-
think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they got
so.
snapbacks. They got the dad hats, which is the one that I prefer. Sean, you got a hat right now? No? Oh, you got the D-backs hat.
Yeah, I do have a hat. I'm not wearing it right now. I have the snapback. I do like it.
Yeah, that one's really nice as well. So yeah, if you guys haven't yet, you can go to phnxlocker.com to get your hats there, or you can get the PHNX Rising podcast shirt as well and support us here at the show. But yeah, go check them out. We got some really good shirts, and you guys can support us from there. All right, y'all. So to wrap up the show, we're going to talk some World Cup qualifying draw, which is happening tomorrow. Really early. It's like at 9 a.m.
Yeah, well...
You got to wake up for that one.
The world doesn't revolve around American time zones, does it?
I wonder what time it is. Is it? It must be 9.
Think about it. What is it? 9 a.m. here.
Because the games will be like at 5 a.m., 9 or something. They're early games.
9 a.m. in Phoenix, Arizona is 7 p.m. in Qatar.
Makes sense. Okay.
So,
Yeah. So, I mean, I do get up before 9, guys. I'm not saying that I don't, but yeah, it's going to be early. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. So yesterday we saw the U.S. and Mexico qualify. Costa Rica's going, Canada as well, but they qualified earlier. And then Costa Rica as the 4th spot. So they're going to be playing against New Zealand.
I believe it's New Zealand, yeah.
And then Peru on the South American side, they're going to play against the winner of Oceania. So really interesting. We did see some scenarios here that you were playing at. So anything of note?
Well, I did if we want to make everyone happy, I did like a mock draw earlier just to see like with all the permutations, how could it work out? And just by pure chance with this one, I ended up with a group A that was Qatar, the US, Tunisia, and then the winner of the UEFA playoff, which of course could be Wales.
Will be Wales. I'm on that Wales train now.
He's backing us. I'm not so sure. We've seen too much. We've seen too much. It's too many times of heartbreak with Wales.
Michael says,
but look, that group,
England and Wales, I don't think they can be in the same group.
We can. So you can have up to 2 UEFA teams in a group.
Okay.
No double of any other confederation, but because there are more than 8 UEFA teams, you have to allow a second. You can't have more than 2. But look, if we could get Qatar, US, Tunisia, and Wales in a group,
I think it'd be pretty much set on that one.
That would make everyone happy.
The last time we talked World Cup, I said Forza Italia, and then Italy promptly failed to qualify for the World Cup. So
who are you supporting now?
Don't support Mexico, please.
I feel obligated. I feel obligated to support the U.S. now because who else? But once the U.S. gets eliminated, which I know they will, I'm backing Wales with you, Owen.
I don't know if I want you back in Wales. After what you just said, I don't know if I want that.
I don't know about that bad.
That's risky.
I'm rooting for a Mexico-Wales World Cup final.
Oh, my God.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be really fun, honestly. I'd be crying if we make it that far at all. But yeah, no, it should be fun. Yeah, the World Cup is always like, a special time, at least for me. I always try to take that month off just to watch all the games as much as I can. I know the older I get, the less I can do it, but hopefully this one will be really fun.
It was fun last time because it hit like right at that sweet spot between finishing my undergrad degree and actually like, having to go off and do something else then. So I just had the whole month to affect.
Yeah, that's how it worked out.
Just sit around and watch games.
That's all we did. I remember my roommates would wake up and like, I think the earliest game was like at 5 or something. And I would wake up so early that I would fall asleep during that first game. And they'd be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to watch the games, man." But it's not working out too.
The only problem was that the English were doing all right last time, and unfortunately, being surrounded by a lot of English people, that was no.
We'll see. Maybe we can get a World Cup watch party in November. We'll see. We'll figure something out here. But yeah, with all due respect, Sean, if the U.S. gets kicked, Wales will be right with them. Sean, U.S. flags. Ramon in an alternate universe. Yeah, man, England is just better than us right now. We'll see. So. Pot 1, those are the big heavy hitters. So you have Qatar, which you drew in your group, Brazil, Belgium, France, Argentina, England, Spain, Portugal.
You gotta want Qatar, surely. If you're not supporting any other team in Pot 1, surely you want Qatar.
Besides Qatar, who else would you want?
Oh.
In chat, let me know.
Portugal, they kind of underperformed.
Yeah.
Qualifying quite a bit. I think that
for them to have that much talent,
yeah, I think that might be a decent one.
I don't know. I'm kind of going with this World Cup curse, so I would pick France. I know it's not going to happen, but we've seen that every World Cup winner just crashes out at the next World Cup. So I gotta keep up with the trend. So I would go with France on that one. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll talk about the U.S. a little bit. So they missed 2018 back in 2022. Do you see them going far? A lot of these players are really young, not a lot of international experience besides this CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. So do you see them at least getting out of their group, regardless of where they draw?
It's tough because you don't know who they're going to draw. That's the real tough thing here,
Yeah.
right? You know, we all joke about Wales, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, but we're ranked what, 18th or 19th in the world, and we're in pot 4. If in theory, because we haven't yet qualified, you know, that would be a rough draw out of pot 4, given that most of the teams there are ranked substantially lower. You know, it's possible. Okay, so who can the US not draw? Let's see. They can't draw Canada. There's a positive because that's another tough one in pot 4. They can't draw Canada first off because
Ghana is pretty tough. I would
Ghana
say.
often give. Yeah, there's history there.
I don't think people should sleep on Ecuador either. You know, they're young, they're hungry, they want to win. They got 3rd place in the CONMEBOL qualifying, so can't sleep on those ones. It's a tough.
It's tough because okay, so the US are in pot 2, but you look in pot 3 and you got people like Poland in there that can show up. Yeah,
whoever gets Poland is screwed.
There's a lot of those kind of teams in there that are like, you know, are they great? No. Are they going to make a run at the cup? No.
Yeah.
But are they the kind of people that show up and in their one-off game against you get a result and then suddenly you're questioning because, you know, you've got 3 games. You go there, you got 3 games to get out that group.
Imagine you get a Brazil, you can get a Germany, you can get a Senegal, you can end up with Wales. Like, it's Canada.
Imagine if the US end up drawing Brazil, Poland, and Wales.
That's
a
not fun.
Tough group.
Yeah. What's the easiest you could get? You said Qatar, right?
Qatar, I think, is pot
2.
1. Pot 2 is the US. So
you'd put them as the easiest.
Well, no, I thought we were talking about who the US could draw.
Oh, okay. No.
The easiest in pot 2. You
have Qatar in pot 1 to host. See, but you don't want it really.
Denmark are in pot 2, and I don't know if you really want a whole lot to do with them, but they're you know, when you compare it to people like the Netherlands or Mexico or Croatia and Germany in there and Uruguay.
You want to draw the host, though. You think they're going to have that support from their fans? No?
No. I'm not even expanding on that. I'm just saying now.
I get you.
And then you look at, like, I guess the 3rd place teams, if you got in there.
Serbia?
Tunisia, Iran, Serbia. See, Serbia, are they as good as Poland? No.
Yeah.
But again, they're that kind of team that you don't really want much. I don't know. They could show up and
I've always liked Japan.
Make it out
I like the way Japan plays every World Cup. I always like them. They took Belgium pretty much to the last minute. You know, if it wasn't for that defense, they could have made it to the next round during the last World Cup. So I've always liked them. Pot 4 is just crazy, man. Like,
it's weird, isn't it? And the thing is, it's always going to be weird because you've got the playoff teams in there which are ranked below. You know, and you will. I mean, it's a World Cup. You will eventually have to play a good team. It's a weird one in pot 4 because you've got the teams are the lowest that have actually made it through their respective ones. Then you've got the playoff teams who, some of them are very good teams.
Yeah, no, I think, and I was talking to you about this earlier with Costa Rica. I think they're going to beat New Zealand pretty handily, and Costa Rica got the same amount of points as the U.S. They only, ended up in the that playoff spot thanks to goal difference. So Costa Rica's not to be slept on. I know their generation's a little bit older now, but definitely something to look at. Peru played pretty well. They have to be either Australia or the United Arab Emirates, so we'll see how that goes. And of course, Wales. So Wales, when will they play their actual game? Because June is the one where Ukraine and Scotland, right? So what are we looking at here? No one knows.
I'm just shrugging at this point. We don't know. No one knows anymore.
They're gonna play in September, like 2 months before.
Surely not. I've heard. The thing is, people have been suggesting, well, what if Ukraine can't play, and then you'd have to push the Ukraine-Scotland game back to September, and it's like, there's only so far you can push stuff back. Yeah. Like eventually, you
need those tune-up games. You have a FIFA window, in the middle.
But even like, how do you logistically arrange some of this stuff?
Yeah.
When you're 2 months out for the World Cup, it's not great.
Well, Costa Rica and Peru are playing in Qatar. They're going to be playing their one-off game there. Do you think they'll do that with Wales if it's that far pushed? No.
I can't see it because the problem is it's not space before. You've got, given the way that this falls in the middle of this season,
Yeah.
the middle of the European season and other countries that play in that kind of a winter season. They've cut it down so that the release date is really close to the start of the tournament.
Yeah.
There isn't that much time.
Yeah, not at all.
Really not that much time.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I did get news that Mexico will be playing in LA in September against Argentina. That's going to be something to look forward to. Probably another game against Brazil in San Francisco. So we'll see how that goes. And honestly, I want them to play a European team, European or African, just to kind of, see what they're all about.
Struggle with those for the tune-ups just because June and September is UEFA Nations League. So you won't get a European team, probably.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They're all a bit busy.
Yeah, I'm not. The more I think about it, like I get the Nations League, and we can talk about this later, but I'm not a super big fan of that. But we'll see. We'll talk about it another day. But anything else, Owen?
Phil, should we didn't address the big games this weekend, did we?
Yeah, about the USL. Let's talk about it.
Talk a little bit about USL quickly. The biggest game I think this weekend, undoubtedly, is the game that they've picked for game of the week. It's on ESPN Deportes, I believe.
On Sunday.
San Diego Loyal against El Paso Locomotive. This is where it gets real for El Paso and their new coach.
Oof.
3 games in, 3 losses.
No points.
The fans aren't happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2 of them at home too, right?
2 of those games at home.
Yeah.
Now they're going away to play San Diego. This is not going to be an easy game. If they have lost 4 games to start the season, you really are getting into when do you hit the panic button.
Yeah. You think they'll give the coach the boot if they lose again?
I don't know.
Depends on how they lose.
USL's a weird league in that sense. It's hard to tell. And I'm not going to pretend that I have any intel on that one because I don't. But I don't know. The pressure's got to be on surely at that point because how do you start a season when you are a team that is just really blown people away in its first few years?
Mm-hmm.
They made their first 2 conference finals, and then the season after they were second in the conference in the regular season.
So expectations are there.
Expectations are way through the roof.
Yeah.
And yet they've lost 3 games to start the season. Could be about to make it 4.
Yeah. Not good at all.
Tough. That's tough.
Well, we know how they feel, right?
Mm-hmm. Loudon have got a risk now as well, haven't they?
I'm on that Loudon train. Let's do it.
Loudon train.
All the way to the top.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Look,
history
they
does
are
not matter.
unbeaten now through 3 games, I believe. Yeah, unbeaten through 3.
Let's see. Yeah.
2 wins and a draw, I think.
Loudon. Yeah, they're in 4th. Yeah, 2 wins and 1 draw.
2 wins and a draw, and they're playing Pittsburgh away from home. Could this be the game that they lose, and then you start to see the wheels coming off?
No way.
No, you're backing them.
Well, yeah, I think Pittsburgh. Yeah, 2 wins, 1 losses as well. So that should be fun. Should be a fun game.
Be a fun game. And then the other one that intrigued me is Birmingham Legion have really not been as good as I expected them to be. They got Louisville.
They're hosting them.
Yep. Big game. Got to get a result in that.
Louisville
one, really.
got a tie last week. So
yeah, but that was a tough game because it's playing against a rival.
Were they calling it the rivalry?
Oh, that one.
Making fun of it? You said it, but I can't remember.
Louisville, Indianapolis Proximity Association Football Contest. It's meant to be a joke.
Yeah, no, ironic. Yeah,
the fact that you're not that close to each other, but still, it is a rivalry. So I mean, at the end of the day, you expect the away team, even though they've struggled, and Mark Lowry's been struggling to adjust there. Mark Lowry, of course, the former El Paso coach, who left over the off season to go to Indy. He's been struggling with the personnel there, but you get the best out of your players in a game like that.
Yeah,
you always do. So, and look, when they were posting things about Louisville, had their club posted like a tailgate schedule like type thing of when things open and all that, and then they had at the very end of it the time where they were going to drink when Louisville won. It's like, you post stuff like that, you deserve to not win.
Oof.
You post stuff like that, you deserve to not win.
Yeah.
Okay, fans chat that kind of nonsense, but the club shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, for sure. On the Western Conference side, you got Oakland Roots hosting Tampa Bay.
Tough game.
Very
sure. Tough game. But of course, shout out to Juan Guerra getting his first point as a coach.
I mean, that's 1 point, yeah. But...
yeah, it's a draw away to New Mexico. They'll take it. They were on nothing prior to that.
For sure. And then you have Sacramento Republic hosting Monterey Bay playing a lot better ever since that second half with with Rising. So they got their first win last week. So yeah, hopefully they can keep it going.
And Sacramento a scrappy win on the weekend, but it's a win. Win's a win.
Hey,
Look, they're a better team by far, I think, than Monterey Bay, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
see what happens.
It is in Heart Health Park though, so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Monterey doesn't play at home for like another month.
No,
or two,
they're
right?
still getting that ready. Still
Yeah.
getting that stadium ready.
All right, for sure. Any other games that stand out to you?
Not
pretty
really, I
much
don't
it, right?
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much covered it all there.
All right, awesome. Well, sounds good on that side. But I think that kind of wraps up today's show. Owen, thank you a lot for your insight today. Of course, we want to thank Peacemaker, Mr. Peacemaker, for helping us out today with Edwin's absence. I think he left the chat already. He just came in to send those 2 messages. But yeah, we appreciate everybody on the chat being so busy and typing all that stuff. We always appreciate you. Justin, Thomas, Michael, all the guys, as always, thank you so much for joining us. We will.
Are you going to be at the Valley United opener? They're playing tomorrow night.
Oh, tickets were like $20. I saw that. I was like, I'm just gonna click just to see. I was like, I expected like $5.
that we're media. We could probably get a credential, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that is true. I should have thought about that. But yeah, it was $20. I'm like, I'm not paying $20 for that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe.
Nisa's got to pay for the pizza somehow.
Yeah, that is true.
Pizza party.
Alex says he'll be there. Let us know. Let us know what happens. I got a free one from them. I think the first 100 people that signed up for something got a free ticket or something like that. Should have done that. All right, y'all. Well, that wraps it up. We will be back on Saturday after the game, hopefully with good news and good results over there in San Antonio. Any last words, Owen?
No. Edwin's not dead. I'll leave it at that. Edwin's not dead.
He
Sounds
said
awfully suspicious, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
He said menacingly. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining us again for another edition of the PHNX Rising podcast. Until then, we will see you. Take care.